Good Thursday morning, friends. I am here in the kindergarten room kitchen, and you know what that got me thinking? Can you guess? I'll let you think for a second. What do you do in a kitchen? You cook things, right? You bake or you cook and you make something super yummy and it's really great and everybody loves it, right? I love being in the kitchen. Do you like being in the kitchen? Have you ever gone and helped your mom bake cookies or something and it's so much fun and you may even get to lick the batter afterwards? I don't know. I like to do that. That's one of my favorite parts of cooking. So anyways, I am here in the kindergarten room kitchen and I was just thinking, I wonder what kind of yummy things I can make when I go back to my own kitchen at my own home. Well, I moseyed on upstairs to our library and I picked out a cookbook and I started thumbing through the pages of the cookbook. And guess what I found? Y'all, it's a recipe for a chocolate chip cake. Isn't that the coolest thing ever? What, chocolate chip cake? Oh, it sounds so yummy. Let's read the recipe. Okay, I'm really excited. All right, it says I need flour and sugar and more sugar, which is a good thing. You need sugar in a sweet cake, right? And you need baking powder. I guess that makes sense because you're baking. You need milk and eggs and, of course, the chocolate chips and some vanilla and... Y'all, this recipe is calling for salt. That's weird. I don't know about you, but I don't usually put salt and sweet in the same thing. I mean, I put salt on my popcorn or on my pretzels, but salt with my chocolate chip cake? This was supposed to be a good chocolate chip cake. I mean, they've tried the recipe, right? Why are they putting salt in that? That doesn't really make sense. I don't know. Do you guys think that I should do it? Do you think I should put salt in the chocolate chip cake batter like they say to do it? I don't know. You know, I think I better. I think I better put the salt in it because that's how the recipe is written, right? And we need to obey every step of the recipe in order to get the cake that it says to make. So, I guess I'll try putting salt in my chocolate chip cake, even though that doesn't really seem to make sense, putting something salty in something sweet. Well, we'll try it. You know, that reminds me of a time in the Bible that God tells us that he told a man named Abraham to go and do something that really did not make a lot of sense. God told Abraham to go. Period. That's it. God said, get up and go. And Abraham was kind of like, wait, where am I going? Do I have a compass, or do I need to go 13 paces to the left, or where are we going, God? Well, God did not tell him any specific instructions. God just said, go. But you know what? Abraham did it. Maybe it didn't make a whole lot of sense to Abraham. We don't really have a full kind of story about what Abraham was thinking at that moment. But the Bible tells us that Abraham obeyed, even when it really didn't make a whole lot of sense. And so that story is found in the book of Genesis. But the writer of Hebrews in the New Testament talks about how Abraham obeyed. In chapter 11 of the book of Hebrews, verses 8 and 9, the author writes, by faith Abraham obeyed when he was called to go out to a place that he was to receive an inheritance. And he went out, not knowing where he was going. He went by faith to live in the land of the promise. Abraham obeyed God. He didn't really ask questions. He didn't hesitate. Abraham just simply obeyed because God said so. It maybe didn't make a whole bunch of sense to him. Maybe he was really curious about the whole thing. But Abraham obeyed nonetheless. Y'all, that's what God calls us to do. Just like Abraham, just like following a chocolate chip recipe that calls for salt, God calls us in his word to obey him. He gives us the instructions for how to live by faith. And if we follow those instructions, we will be doing something that pleases God. We will be honoring God by obeying him. We, as we live our lives, need to go about obeying God even sometimes when it doesn't make sense. You know what? That extends even to when our parents tell us something, to do something that doesn't really make sense. Maybe your mom will say, go clean your room, and you're like, but I cleaned my room last week, and your mom still told you to go clean your room, right? You still need to obey her because you need to obey God who put her over you, right? You need to obey God. I need to obey God. Miss Margaret needs to obey God. We all need to obey God even when it doesn't make sense, because God doesn't make mistakes. God didn't put Abraham in a situation where he said, go, and then forgot about him. God knew exactly where Abraham was going, right? The writers of this chocolate chip cake recipe knew exactly what they were doing when they tell me to put salt in this cake. Yeah, I just gotta trust, right? We just have to trust. We have to trust God, because God is someone who loves us and who's looking out for us and has provided so much for us. We must obey. All right, y'all. Well, my challenge for you today is to go and find something that's super yummy and try it. Just like I'm gonna go try this chocolate chip cake recipe, maybe you can go and make a new kind of sandwich. Or maybe if you really want to get fancy about it, find a whole new recipe and make that whole new recipe and see how it goes if you follow all the instructions. Does that sound fun? I'm excited. I can't wait to see you all and talk about what all recipes we tried. I think it's gonna be great. Okay, are you guys ready for your Thursday joke? I am so ready. All right, what did the right eye say to the left eye? Between us, something smells. It's the nose, you get it? The nose smells. Haha. All right, so I will see you all later. I can't wait. Bye, y'all.